Hi, my name is Shakira. I'm going to be doing a group role play with my family. I'm going to be playing the social worker. And the purpose of our group is to have like a support group for people who have lost a child. So the other members of the group are going to be Kyler, Mikey, and Anna. Kyler is a person in a group who lost his son to an accident. He got killed by a drunk driver. Kyler's gonna be kind of like the angry, confrontational person. He kind of cuts people off. He's a little loud and stuff like that. Mikey, he also lost his son to SIDS, but he has another daughter. His problem is that he doesn't know how to communicate with his daughter after losing his daughter. He doesn't know how to communicate with his daughter after losing his son. So he's kind of like quiet and reserved. Um, and Anna is the other member of our group. She lost a child to cancer last year, and she's kind of further into her, I guess, grieving process than the others. So she's more of the calm person in the group. She her problems are that she's having problems with her husband. She wants to have another baby, but he thinks that she's trying to replace their daughter. But her problem is she's having trouble communicating with her husband. Good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, did everyone enjoy their weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Did you guys get a chance to complete your goals that we discussed last week?
Went to the cemetery and planted out new flowers. Put his favorite toys on there for his birthday. Helped me to remember some good times we had. Guess it put me in a better mood.
I know last week you were feeling sad about not being able to spend time with him for his birthday. It sounds like visiting his grave lifted your spirits.
Yeah, it did.
I made some reasons the support group could help me cope. I think there were some pros to being here.
I know last week you expressed that in your first meeting that your mom thought this would be a good fit for you. You expressed not really wanting to be here. I'm glad you think this group will be able to help you.
My husband and I had a date night at home, and we told each other things that reminded us of why we should still be together. After Sarah's death last year, we discussed getting a divorce. We couldn't see why we should still be married anymore. After our date, we felt a lot closer.
It sounds like you guys are reconnecting. I'm happy you had a great date night. It sounds like all of you had a productive weekend. So, how was everyone feeling today? Is there anything specific you want to talk about?
Sometimes I don't think it's fair how my son was taken so unexpectedly. I mean, he was here one day and gone the next. Sometimes I feel so guilty. I'm not cherishing the time I have with mine.
Now I know exactly how you feel, bro. My son got taken by a drunk driver. Some scumbag didn't even know when to be responsible and put his key down and not get behind the wheel. It makes me so mad. I'm glad he's in prison too. But sometimes I just want to hurt him.
Okay, thanks for sharing, guys. It sounds like you're frustrated that the driver is still alive and your son isn't. It's normal to feel angry. I'm glad you're expressing your feelings to the group instead of acting on them. I don't know, what about you? Is there anything that you want to discuss?
Well, I know I'm ready to start having another baby, but I don't think my husband is. Every time I try to bring it up, we start to argue. He thinks I'm trying to replace our daughter.
I have another kid too, but she's in no way to replace my son. But I'm glad she's around. I have someone else to love. That's why I feel so guilty not being able to express that to her.
I know another baby won't replace Sarah, but my husband won't even listen to how I feel. I don't know how to effectively get through to him.
It sounds like you both are having problems expressing yourself and communicating with the people in your life. I think it would be helpful to discuss ways we can communicate with people in our life.
I know how to communicate, all right. I know how to communicate. What I would just do to have a few minutes alone with that guy, you know. I tell him all kinds of things about himself.
While violence isn't the answer here, I'm glad that you said you would tell him things about himself. Expressing to him how you feel might be an effective way to show him how you truly feel and why you feel like that. I'm sure it will be good to get some of those things off your chest. There are many ways to communicate to get our points across.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's shift gears here. Let's discuss some positive things we have going on in our lives. Has anyone experienced any good news lately? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I got a raise at work and a promotion.
That's great, Mikey. I know you mentioned last week that you were nervous about the interview.
Yeah, I know. My nerves have been bad ever since I lost my son. I know this position will allow me more time to spend with my daughter. I'm just afraid that what will we do with our time together? I like to spend more time with her. I just don't know how.
I'm happy for your new position, and I'm glad to see you are in a new position that would allow you to spend more time with your daughter.
I mean, yeah, it's okay, I guess.
Man, all I do is work. I would kill to have more time with my son, man. You need to take advantage of that, bro. But I donated some of my son's old clothes and shoes. I figure someone else could use them.
That was thoughtful of you, Kyler, but let's remember to remain respectful of each other. It's important to respect each other and listen without judging. It takes a lot to share how we feel with one another, and we don't want to make someone else feel bad about how they're feeling or what they're going through. Each of you are going through different things and process them differently. How about you, Anna? Have you done anything positive or had any exciting news?
I got a manicure and pedicure the other day. I've been trying to do some of that self-care stuff you've been talking about. I've been taking time for myself.
That's great to hear. How has it made you feel?
I feel good. When my daughter was alive, we did everything for her. That's what you're supposed to do as a parent, you know? But I often forget to do stuff for me.
How did that make you feel?
I mean, I didn't mind. Like I said, when you have children, you're supposed to do a lot for them. I was happy to do that. Now that she's gone, I try to do things for myself until hopefully I have another baby. It's sort of like a distraction too.
A distraction how?
Well, it helps keep my mind off the fact that she's gone. Even if it's just reading a book or going on a walk, it keeps me busy. And it helps distract me from the arguments and problems my husband and I are having. Self-care is sort of like a coping mechanism for me.
Thanks for sharing. It seems like keeping busy helps you deal with the loss of your child. And thanks for bringing up coping mechanisms. We talked about them last week. Coping mechanisms are tools we use to help deal with certain issues or stress. Mikey or Kyler, do you have any coping mechanisms you use to deal with your grief?
Yeah, I try to exercise and go to the gym a few times a week. When I first lost my son, I would be so wound up and you could just feel the tension radiating off of me. I was just so angry, worse than I am now. So exercising helped me out a lot. Still does. I'm probably going to go to the gym after I leave here.
I'm glad you found a way to deal with some of your anger. Again, it's normal to feel anger when losing someone. I'm really proud that you are finding positive ways to deal with your anger. Mikey, what about you?
Well, I fight with my mom. That's about it.
That's good. Having someone to talk to in these times is very important.
How so?
Well, it allows you to express yourself and get your feelings out in the open. That way you're not holding everything in. Do you feel like it helps when you talk to your mom?
I mean, kinda. That's how I got here. She suggested I find people to talk to that might know what I'm going through.
That is true. Talking to others who share the same experiences as you could help you tremendously. If you need other ways to cope, you could use some of the things like exercising and practicing self-care like Anna and Kyler did. Or you can find other ways or things to help you cope. We can definitely use each other's experiences to learn more from each other. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we end today? Okay. Well, as you know, at the end of the meeting, I like for you all to come up with a goal you can accomplish for our next meeting. So let's start with our individual goal. Who wants to share first?
Yeah, I've been thinking about how you said there are many ways to communicate and how angry I've been sitting here. I think I'm going to write a letter to that guy that killed my son. I don't know if I'm going to send it, but I think it will help me get some of the anger off my chest. You know, hopefully it'll make me feel better.
That's a great goal. I think it could definitely help you express yourself. And it allows you to express yourself in a manner where you aren't physically hurting anyone. You might even get some closure. Mikey, do you have any goals for next week?
Well, I'm just going to spend some time with my daughter.
You're going to do something with your daughter? Like what?
I don't know. Something that can get us talking, I guess.
How about you plan a daddy-daughter day? You guys can do something she likes, and then maybe that will allow her to talk to you.
Well, she likes to go shopping. Maybe I could take her shopping or out to eat or something. Maybe then we can talk.
It sounds like a great way to spend some time with your daughter, and a great way to have some open dialogue between you two. Anna, is there any goals you would like to meet for next week?
Well, I really want to have a talk with my husband about having another baby. And without arguing. I think I'm going to make dinner at home and try to discuss it with him. I'm going to try to use words like, I feel, so that he knows that I'm not trying to replace our daughter. I want him to understand where I'm coming from.
You all have come up with some really good goals. I would definitely encourage you to try expressing yourself clearly in a quiet setting to help him understand your plan. I'm happy with the strides you all are making. It's difficult to lose someone, let alone a child, but I believe over time it will get easier for you. I'll see you guys next week at the same time, the same place.
All right.
Well, so far, I think the group role play went pretty well, considering that the other group members are not like studying social work or have any experience with it. So, like, they were just pretty much reading off of the script. And I guess it would be better if it was memorized, but working or I guess having them read something that they're not really familiar with or even like in the setting, I guess, is, I guess it could have been better doing that. And I'm pretty sure there were a lot of background noises since I'm like at home and there's like dogs and like kids and stuff in the background, but I think it could have flowed a little bit better. We could have went over it a few more times. I think I had a lot of open and closed questions. Like I try to do a summarization and like I try to reflect their feelings when I was doing the dialogue. So I think that was one of the more positive, I guess, things I had going for the role play. Um, At the end, we use SMART goals. So I try to have each of them come up with something that they can do for the next week, you know, a goal they can complete. And I think that was an effective tool. But we had used it in the scene as the previous week too. So it kind of allowed them to express, you know, how they were feeling and where they were at in their time of grief. I think that the members of the group were responsive a little bit. Like they took feedback and they kind of listened to each other, which was good. There were times where Kyler, you know, the confrontational one, he would like kind of get angry and he would point and I guess confront one of the other members of the group. But I think I used a reflective tool of having, you know, to remind him that, you know, we're respectful of each other and we're not judging to kind of bring it back to, you know, the main discussion. So I think that was another positive part of the role play. Michael's role play was supposed to be like a kind of a shy person who doesn't make eye contact and, you know, kind of is a little quiet. I think he did his part pretty well, considering he's not a quiet person whatsoever. So I think we could have had a little bit more like face to face interaction a little bit more, but how we were set up with the space that we had, it wasn't really possible. And I think if we were in a bigger space, we could have had like a little bit more room, like or sit in like a circle a little bit, so like you can see everyone's faces a little bit better and have like a little bit more elbow room. But overall, I think the role play was okay. I think it did pretty well. But thank you.